Sorry about that. Hello and welcome to I Can't Say It, day 310. Woo! Man, there are so many videos of me out there. It makes me wonder if somebody's ever going to watch any of them. And I don't really know. Don't really care. As we all know, today was one of the most exciting days that can happen in any given year. Election Day. The day where we go to the polls to be counted. We get our chance to say yes, no, or eh. So that's what we did today. We did it this morning. We had a good time. My wife walked home. I dropped off my son at school. He wore his I voted sticker all day. My I voted sticker sits in the car. And now the results are coming in. And you know, the news is just a little bit wacky. You gotta love it. I'm watching it. They said, here are the results for Utah. Mitt Romney, 0 votes. The opposition, 0 votes. We project Mitt Romney wins. And I'm like, give us at least some votes to look at. You're projecting him to win without any votes. It makes no sense. Didn't the polls teach you anything from the 2016 election? You can't trust the polls. Give us the numbers. You know, I don't think you should call elections until at least you have 50%, nay, 75% of the votes, okay? I don't want to hear the numbers. 23% have, reported in, and that's what you're going off of? No. Give us the actual numbers. Don't give us projections. I don't want to hear projections. You guys all want to be able to call this and call that. I'm like, dude, that's not what I want. I want to know the exact numbers. I want to hear, 90% of the votes in. There you go. Then I'm going to believe your numbers. Otherwise, your numbers are full of shit. You can't project what the vote's going to be after 25% of the votes are in. Because you don't know what the other 75% are. You just don't know. And why do they think they can? Oh, they just want to be able to say, oh, this person's won or this person's won. We can call it for this person. No, let us hear the results. That'd be like the baseball game. It's 3-0 after 3 innings. Well, after 3 innings, we project that the final score is going to be 9-0, which of course we don't know. Just because you got 3 runs in the first 3 innings doesn't mean you're going to get 3 runs in the next 3 or the 3 after that. Anyway, it's all full of, give me some actual numbers to look at. That's what I really care about. I don't want to hear projections. I've said about that. But we all had a glorious time. I got to vote. My wife voted absentee. We get to do this all over again in 2 years. And what's going to happen in 2 years? We're going to be voting for a president. Who's it going to be? Trump versus Biden? No. Trump versus Beto O'Rourke? I'm leaning, I would hope not. I would hope somebody with a little bit more experience, but then of course we have Trump who had no experience going into presidency, so maybe Beto could run for president. Who's to say? Anyway, so the results are coming in, and it looks like the Democrats will be taking the House. Just what we wanted to see. The Democrats in the House, the Republicans in the Senate. Divided Congress. It's going to be hell. You're going to have to get some Democrats to vote any way you want. The Senate can vote any way it wants to, but if the House doesn't vote, to support, then nothing's going to get done. Think about that. Divided Congress. It's what George Will says we should have. Divided Congress. Force them to work together. You know what the problem is? Here's my prediction for the 2020 election. Because we have a divided Congress, the Republicans now have Democrats that they can blame if nothing gets done. if nothing gets done, or excuse me, and if something gets done, then the then the Republicans are going to say, we worked with the Democrats and we got stuff done. But they had both houses of Congress and they weren't able to get anything done in the last 2 years. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. But I do sense a lot of childish behavior, shall we say, from our representatives. So let us hope that they take a step back and they realize that this isn't what we want and that they need to stop the childish behavior. But I'm sorry to say that because of Trump, our politicians on the Republican side do seem to think that childish behavior is inappropriate. And I got bad news for you that the childish behavior is not appropriate. Now that I'm saying it out loud and starting to think about this behavior, I am going to have to look for Democrats to see what kind of childish behavior they're exhibiting, because honestly, I'm not seeing a whole lot of it. Something to think about. And because you have to wonder what people are seeing. When I watch the news, I'm seeing the Democrats on a whole behaving much more maturely, much more like an adult, much more rationally thinking things through, whereas the Republicans do not seem to be doing that. They are basing their decisions on seemingly faulty information. They're doing what they want to simply because they're in charge, without regard for, rational thought, scientific inquiry. Those sorts of things are missing from the Republicans. They're doing lots of grandstanding, lots of, trying to make it look like they're doing something. And you gotta wonder, how clueless are they? Now, I'm not trying to be mean. I mean, I'm looking at what these guys are saying and what they're doing, and it doesn't make sense. Because usually you can go from A to B to C. That's a logical sequence. C, you can understand the train of thought. It makes sense. It follows a logical pattern. You may not like A, B, or C, but at least you can understand it. And when it comes to Republicans, they are not doing anything that makes any sense to me. So what are we missing? Honestly, I think it comes down to money. I think that their love of money is the root of all their evil. There, I said it. There are some Republicans who are making choices which Dr. Evil would probably approve of. Because the Republicans are not making sense. You know what I'm going to do? I need to go into the cabinets behind me and find an article that Michelle Bachmann wrote. Yes, that Michelle Bachmann, who said Republicans are not being true to themselves. And she laid out all sorts of reasons why. And I have to tell you, when I read that article, I was like, holy shit. She was making a lot of sense. Because she was